Greetings, welcome back to my channel, and in this week's video we'll be making chicken alfredo and garlic twist. I am not in love with this recipe, but time, effort, money was spent on creating this content, so I am going to put it out. So I'll first begin by making my garlic butter, and what I used, I had unsalted butter at the time, so I just added a little salt first. Then I am grating some garlic cloves, mixing that together. I grated a total of 5 cloves. Then I'm going to add some dried parsley, Parmesan, and place it back into the fridge. Now we'll move on to the garlic twist, and what I'm doing now is creating a starter for my yeast, which is just warm milk, some sugar, and the yeast. I'm going to allow this to sit for 5 minutes to froth up. Plain flour, I added salt and garlic powder. I'm going to incorporate my yeast mixture, my butter and egg, and I'm going to knead this until the dough springs back. I'm going to then place it to rest for an hour and 45 minutes, after which we'll take it out and begin the process of creating our garlic twists. After that hour and 45 minutes, the dough should have doubled in size. We're going to punch it down, remove it from the container, and proceed to divide the dough into our desired sizes. The amount of garlic twists that you get depends on the size that you decide to make them. You can most definitely make them smaller, but I decided on having larger ones and I got 8. We are going to form dough balls because it's much easier to create a log shape from a round shape than any random shape that you cut already. So just roll all your segments into balls and set them aside until we're ready to make our log shapes. After we've made all our dough balls, it's now time to turn them into our garlic twist. So just roll them out into a log. You're going to roll until it's as long and as thin as you'd like. Keep in mind that they're going to go for a second rise, so they are going to puff up a bit more. So this is not the size that you're going to get. Also in the oven, they're going to puff up a bit more. So just keep all of that in mind, and I just twisted it and I tried to seal the ends as best as I could, so when they rise they don't separate and pull apart. So again, just roll the dough into a log shape and start twisting it. I get a tighter twist when I move the pieces over as far as I can and under as far as I can. This is what they looked like before they proofed. And this is what our garlic butter looks like after sitting in the fridge for maybe an hour or 2. You can see that it has solidified and it's like a nice smooth spread. I'm going to melt this because we're going to brush over our garlic twist with it. Do you see how jiggly those are? So after we've melted the garlic butter, we're now going to just brush them and allow them to bake. After they finish baking, we're going to hit them with another coat of garlic butter, and I'm just going to show you what the inside looks like and how soft it actually is. It was easy to pull apart. I'm breaking it once more. You can see the pull off that bread. It's very soft and a better look of the inside. I like to cut my chicken into strips, and I cut them just a little bit longer than the pasta would be, so when they cook and they shrink just a little bit, it's almost the same size as the pasta. A hot pot, we're just going to add our chicken. I'm going to add everybody in a layer so that everybody gets to touch the pan. We're then going to allow the chicken to cook, and do not cover the pan because we don't want it to spring water. You just want the chicken to cook and not produce any whole heap of water or anything like that. So keep your pot uncovered. The cheeses that you use in your Alfredo are very important to the taste that you'll get, and here I am just grating some fresh aged Parmesan. To the same pot that we cooked our chicken, do not remove anything, don't scrape out anything, just keep it. We're laying flavors, and I just decided to use my garlic butter instead of like grating other garlic, but you can just grate some more garlic if you wish, but I'm just using whatever was left from my garlic butter. We're going to whisk this until the butter is melted, and then we're going to add our flour and allow that to cook. because this is how we're going to make our sauce. We need to make a roux so that we can get our sauce thickened. Once I have my sauce going, I'm going to start my pasta boiling, and I find that they finish around the same time, so this is a good time to add your pasta to the water. After the flour has cooked out a bit, we're going to start streaming in some milk while continuously whisking, and I choose to use full cream milk as opposed to heavy cream or something like that because it's cheaper and it works. So you're going to just continuously whisk the milk and flour butter thing until it becomes thick. Like I said earlier, the types of cheese that you decide to use ultimately determine the flavor of your Alfredo. So I opted to use cream cheese and freshly grated Parmesan cheese, which gives a sharper taste. So I'm just trying to melt my cream cheese into my milk solution. At this point, the pasta is finished and we're going to reserve some pasta water just in case our sauce becomes too thick and we need to dilute it. Now, after the cream cheese has dissolved nicely into the sauce, you can see that it's visually thicker. We're going to start adding our Parmesan cheese and whisking that out until it becomes incorporated as well. It's going to become thick and saucy and all of that. You want to gradually add your cheese in parts because it's just easier to manage that way. It's easier to whisk and it melts nicely when it's added in parts as opposed to throwing the entire amount in your sauce at once. After your cheeses have melted and are incorporated, well, it's now time to season if it needs to be seasoned. So you need to taste your sauce as you go. I used onion powder, garlic powder, and salt. Because of the amount of pasta that I had, I just diluted it a little bit with my pasta water, and I am adding just a tbsp and nutmeg to the sauce because that just adds a whole different flavor component. Then I'm going to incorporate my chicken. I'm going to allow them to just sit for like a minute or two, mix them up and just make them sit down in the sauce for like 2 time. Then we're going to add our pasta, and then this is where some elbow work comes in. We need to ensure that each individual pasta, every nook and cranny has some Alfredo sauce on it. So you're gonna be mixing for a hot minute. This brings us to the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.